how to use your nunchucks or nunchaku. This is a nunchaku for beginners tutorial. I want you to start with this warm-up motion. This is an orbital spin that you're going to use in a lot of the tricks when you learn how to use your nunchucks for beginners. The nunchaku is just going to spin around. One stick spins around the other stick. There's always going to be a chain or a string in the middle. You're going to push it forward, making this small motion. After you do this for a few seconds, you're going to turn your palm over to the other side of your body, and you're going to go around in a spin in the same way. An outer orbital, the other side of your body, turn your palm up, do that same spinning motion. Then you're going to turn your hand over, palm down, and then you're going to put those together. You're going up and down. Hello, Peter. Peter's here. Awkward the cat's here. Good morning. Just going side to side as you learn how to use your nunchaku for beginners. You want to learn this basic figure eight spinning motion first. You'll see that you're going to hold your hand in the middle of your nunchuck as you start to do this spinning motion. So it's palm up, palm down, palm up. When you go palm down, make sure you go to the other side of the body, put it together. Now you have a basic figure eight forward spin. Put it into your other hand. Your palm is up. And you're going to crank that thing forward as you learn how to use your nunchaku for beginners. Your hand turns palm down. Do that a little bit. Palm up, palm down, going side to side. Now you've got your figure eight motion. As you start to spin, practice with different ranges of motion. When you bring your hand up closer to your string or your chain, you're going to be able to spin it a lot faster. When you bring your hand down closer to the bottom of your stick. And one quick pro tip, every time you drop your nunchuck, pick it up. If you don't pick it up, your training is over. You give up too soon. When you come down to the end, you're going to feel more weight on your wrist. So you're going to get a better workout here. When your hand's in the middle, that's going to give you speed and a little bit of resistance. This is going to be used for a lot of the tricks you're going to learn later with your nunchaku as you get started. Now put it back in your right hand, turn your palm up so it's facing the sky. Hello, Ramondo. It's good to see you. Yes, Ramondo says wait till it hits you in the elbow, especially with the metal ones. These are a very lightweight aluminum, but they still hurt when you hit them. Peter said nunchakus strictly forbidden in Germany. Peter, they're forbidden in certain parts of the United States also, other parts of the world, which makes absolutely no sense to me, as the nunchaku is one of the coolest weapons to look at in martial arts, but probably one of the least effective for self-defense. Palm up. It has fear factor, right? It looks like you're going to do a lot of damage with your nunchaku, but if you've ever been in a fight, which I have, where someone's using nunchaku against you, which has happened to me, you realize it's not the most effective weapon. I'd rather be hit by this than with a baseball bat. And baseball bats are not forbidden. So you have your forward figure eight. I want you to pull it backward, spinning, turn your hand over, pulling it backward, spinning. You put those together. You go side to side. Yes, Peter says he builds them from a broomstick. This is very similar to the pair. I wanted to show you a few different options. Very similar to the pair that I had started with, the ones that I took away from somebody. Actually, my brother took them away first. But it's just a potato steak, or a tomato steak. Here in the States, we plant the tomatoes and pound in this octagonal size steak. This one is a speed chuck. It allows you to do a lot of tricks, allows you to throw it up and catch it, all kinds of fancy things. But this is just made out of wood with a very, very short string in the middle. This one's a little bit longer. This is more for competitions. You can use it for a lot of different tricks also. And then these are more for self-defense. These do hurt. When you hit somebody with these, you can do a lot more damage because it's a lot heavier piece of metal and it's got that longer chain. You can see that. So if you're looking for nunchaku or nunchucks, you have to decide what do you want to use them for. If they're for self-defense, then you want one with a longer chain. You want a heavier pair. If they're more for show or for a competition or just for fun, go with something that's a little bit shorter chain and a little bit more lightweight. I like to use these just because they're a lot of fun. I like to use these when I need a good workout. I think it's also important to learn how to fight with multiple types of weapons. So I use those for both. So This reverse spin coming from side to side of your body is literally just pulling up with the small side of your hand. So imagine pulling up this way, pulling up this way. That's this motion here. Do that in both sides. Start with that negative spin when you learn how to use Nunchaku for beginner. Negative spin, and then pull it over, or reverse spin. And then you put them together from one side to the next. Now you have that reverse figure eight. Put it back into your first hand, your right hand. I'm going to have you bring your hand down toward the very end. And you're going to do a vertical strike coming straight down. Imagine hitting someone right on the top of the head, coming down, and then pulling up. As you pull up, your palm turns facing the sky a little bit. Imagine coming up under the chin, or maybe he's reaching for you, and smash into that hand, striking down and striking up, just down and up. Start slowly, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and then speed it up. Put some pressure on that hand for a strike. And then the second is going to be an angular strike coming from your shoulder on the same side of your body. This is your right hand coming to your left hip. And when it comes to the hip, you're going to let it touch your body, and that lets it wrap around into that big muscle, and it's not going to hurt very much. On the back, same thing. It touches the shoulder. If you bring it out, then it has to hit you in the shoulder. It's going to hurt more. So when you bring it in, touch the shoulder, allow it to wrap around your body. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and speed it up. Always keep your other hand up and out of the way. And then a horizontal strike coming across, coming back. When you come across, your palm is up. Palm is always up on this strike so that it runs into your hand. It won't pop out. And then on the way back, palm down for the same reason. So it pushes into this part. If you were to go the wrong way, if you're coming this way and your palm is up, it's going to peel it through your fingers. If you're coming this way and your palm is up, when you run into something, same thing. It's just going to peel it right out of your fingers. So palm up when it comes across your body, and then palm down when it comes back. So you're coming across. You can do this to the head. You can do it to the body, from the lower, toward the legs, to the knees. So just practice this horizontal strike. So you have three basic strikes: down, angle, and horizontal. Down or up. So vertical, diagonal, and horizontal. When you put them together, you now have a right angle triangle, the right triangle. This is the one I call the Bruce Lee triangle because Bruce Lee does this in all of his movies, or did. If you follow cartoons, they've got that Rock Lee and Naruto, that's what it is. And he does this same motion, but this is very famous. You'll see this in a lot of movies, this basic motion. Sometimes they do it tight to the body, especially when they get the camera angle in. It looks really fast, but that's all it is. It's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Put it in your other hand. Start first with your vertical strike. And again, you would be striking on top of the head and coming up under the chin or between the legs. Or maybe he's punching you, smashing his hand either on the way down or the way up. Just coming up and down from your shoulder to your opposite hip. You can let it wrap, let it touch there. Let it come here and touch from side to side, and then that horizontal strike coming across and back. Put it together. And put it in the other hand. Make an orbital motion like where we started, your warm-up motion. Do some out here. Turn your hand over, and by turning the wrist only with your elbow in a 90-degree bend, you're going to go to the front and the back of that upper arm. Just going to the front and the back. When it comes in to your armpit, you're going to chicken wing down, catching it, creating some tension there, and then release the tension with a strike to the face. So you're coming to the front and the back of the upper arm. When it comes in, pull your elbow down. It's a timing drill. Pull your elbow. If you missed it, do it again. Do it again. Keep practicing. Couple here, then catch it. Squeeze, squeeze, put pressure here. Release the pressure with a strike to the face. Go back to your outer orbital, spin a couple, go to the front and the back a couple, and catch it. Oh, Pierre Bear says, heard some arguments about the Nunchaku was originally a farming implement. This goes back to Okinawan. These weapons are actually Okinawan, not Japanese. They're more kung fu in nature than karate in nature. More of the Okinawan style Kimpo or Okinawan Budo. And the story that I've also heard, probably the same story, was this was an implement that was used to smash rice and knock the rice, the little pieces of rice from the shaft, from the weed, not the weed, the grass that they grow on. So you'd take you would use your sai, which is another Okinawan weapon. Looks like it's a sickle, and you would grab a stalk, a handful of rice stalk, and you'd cut it with your sieve, your sickle, your kama. I think I said sai, but I meant kama. And then you use your sai, which is the three-pronged little pitchfork looking thing. These are all Ninja Turtle weapons, right? You'd pick up your rice, you put it on the ground, and then you beat it to knock the rice, shake the rice off. That's what they say this is for. Other people have different theories. I don't know. I didn't live in Okinawa 200 years ago or whenever it was that these were first started to be used as a farming tool or as a weapon. But I've heard the same story. So I can't say yes or no. I'm not a scientist, or that's not a historian. I'm not a historian. I've heard all the same stories on both sides of the argument. So orbital, upper arm, chicken wing, squeeze, pop in the eye. That's another Bruce Lee, very famous. You see that in all the Bruce Lee movies. He gets here, often he's got one in each hand, right? I've got to be careful because I have two different lengths here, and he's standing there, he's pops this guy, pops that guy. He's going to town, starts smacking him in the feet. It looks really good in movies, works really well in movies. So you spin here, upper arm, catch it, squeeze, pop. Throw in the other hand, outer orbital, upper arm, squeeze, pop. So outer orbital, upper arm. I just want you to have a lot of different combinations that you can do to build into. So for example, now you know figure eight, do your figure eight, come out to an orbital, go to your upper arm, squeeze, whoop, squeeze it, pop them, maybe do a Bruce Lee triangle, go back into a figure eight, come back into an orbital, back into, yes, out where the cat says, they have all the farming implements, they eat healthy, but they're there stuffing their face, the Ninja Turtles, with the pizza. In a sewer. Doesn't make sense, but what movie makes sense, right? So practice putting those together, right? You have this figure eight, orbital, upper arm, catch, pop, triangle, and then I want you to learn how to do this hand-to-hand switching from one side to the next. There are two ways that this is done. One is going forward, which is always a little bit more intimidating for people at first, because what will happen is you're going to come back and smack yourself in the back of the head. So what you have to do, that one stings a little bit, but I did that on purpose, just because I wanted you to see I didn't instantly die. There's no blood splurting out. These are metal, and you will hit yourself in the head. Let me see if I can do that. It's kind of hard but light. Anyway, that's my neck. So I come up here. I don't want to stick it in my eye. I'm about to. There we go. I'm going to show you how not to do that. Wherever you point this is where this one's going to go. That means if you point it straight up in the air, it has to go straight up in the air. If your arm is out, this is in, this is out. If your arm is out and you point it straight up in the air, it has to go where you pointed it, into your thumb. And then you can take it and put it in the other hand, straight up. If, which is what you're gonna do, you're gonna do what I do all the time, what everybody does. When you're either not paying attention or you're starting to get tired, or you're afraid and you're just not used to it yet, you'll point it at an angle. It has to go at an angle. Your head is here. If you point it at the angle, and I don't know if you heard that, I just cracked myself pretty good in the head. It has to go in at an angle and hit your head. So as long as you don't point this to the head, it's never gonna go to your head. It will always go where you point it. So when you hit yourself in the head, which you will, and you store it down, and you're angry, and you're saying some words you're not supposed to, it's your fault. You did it. Don't blame the nunchuck. Don't give up. Don't quit. Pick them up and figure out what you did wrong. Remembering that wherever you pointed this thing, that's where this has to go. So you don't want to hit your head. Point it straight up in the air. And if you point it up 1,000 times, it's going to go straight up. You point it up 999 times straight up, and then one time you point it at an angle, that's the time you're going to hit yourself in the head. So don't point it at your head. That's the point. So when you go forward, you're taking it across your body with that diagonal strike, and at the end of the strike, you're turning your hand straight up. So you go diagonal strike, straight up. Diagonal strike, straight up. All you have to do now is stick your hand in the way with elbow out. There's your chicken wing. 90-degree angle. Turn your hand so that this C clamp is pushed back. That's to take it like that. Notice how I stick this hand that's holding the chuck right on the bottom of my arm, and then I'm just wrapping, rolling this straight up. Show you a different angle without popping my eye. Straight up, there it is. That's all it is. So you point it straight up, and then it has to go into your hand. And that's going across your body at an angle, and then the easier one is going backward. So it's the reverse of the diagonal strike. And when you get to the top, point it straight down. And if you don't, you're gonna whack yourself in the back. That doesn't hurt nearly as much as cracking yourself in the head. So you're gonna bring it here, here, and the other thing is almost everybody tries to reach behind. It's just a mental thing. It's the way our brain is made. So when you bring it across and you start doing one of these, remind yourself your hand goes in front of your belly and takes it under your elbow. Let it go, pull it out, point it straight down, take your hand in front of your elbow, front of your body, under your elbow, hand to hand. If I had slow motion, I can do slow motion. You're probably not old enough to remember Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man. I was gonna make the sound effect, but I can't. But that's all it is. Now you have multiple skills. You start with this menacing orbital, right? You're standing there in a good stance, have a high-pitched Bruce Lee scream. You go into your figure eight, come out to an orbital, go up and down, catch it, look at them in the eye, pop them, go into your triangle, switch hands. Now you're on the other side, same combination, spinning, figure eight, orbital, upper arm, catch it, squeeze, scream, ow, bam, pop them, Bruce Lee triangle, switch hands a bunch of times, going backward, orbital, go back into your figure eight, triangle, and then back into a forward. And then one more cool way to pick up a fast skill that doesn't take a lot of skill, a fast skill that's very easy, is when you go down and up, add a spin down and a spin up. Spin down, spin up. All you're doing is spinning with your wrist. You can do a couple of spins up and a couple of spins down. You can do as many as you want. You can also do a spin here in the air, go across, spin, and go back, spin, and go down, spin, go across, spin, and go back. You can do all these different fancy spins going up and down. Now you've got a bunch of skills to weave together, making you look like an expert from your first class as a beginner. How to use Nunchaku for beginners. You start with your basic orbital. You're spinning, figure eight. Outer orbital, spin down, spin up a couple times. Outer orbital, put it into the upper arm. Catch it, pop them, triangle, Switch hands. Do something over here on the other hand. Last thing I want you to see is the wrist roll, because it looks super complicated, but I don't think it is. Your hand is going to turn up. Smiley says, think it's going to be complicated. It really isn't. It's work. You're going to drop it a bunch. Pick it up a bunch. If you drop this thing 10 times, pick it up 10. Oh, almost dropped it. That's the only way to get better. But you have to practice in a way you get out of your comfort zone and you drop it. When you don't get out of your comfort zone, you'll never grow. All growth happens out of the comfort zone. And slow is smooth, smooth is fast. That's why I wear this shirt on these weapons tutorials, because I want you to remember that. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Get your ego out of the way, slow it down before you speed it up. What you're doing is you're pulling the thumb side up. It goes to the back of your wrist. Open your hand. You turn your hand over to catch it, drop it, and then just reverse that motion. Pull it over the pinky, open the hand, turn it down, on one side, and then the other side. Now, I'd like to ask you to subscribe if you like this kind of material, because this is going to give me an idea that you want to see more, or you want to train more with the nunchucks. And I would be glad to help. I have one more pair of nunchucks I wanted to show you, and I wanted to show you how to hit the bag, or how to hit somebody for self-defense, how to fight with the nunchuck, with the nunchaku, because it is possible, it is a thing, it is a martial arts weapon. You can use it for self-defense. It does have practical application. It's just, as Peter started off by saying, it's been banned in Germany for decades. It's been banned in most parts of California for decades. And again, I think it was a mistake. It's stupid, because people didn't know how a baseball bat, a crowbar, somebody hitting you with their car. There's so many much more dangerous weapons than a pair of nunchucks. It just looks scary, and nobody wants to see. It's like if you see, you see this kind of stuff every once in a while. A story about some kid wearing all black and he's walking down the street and he's got a ninja sword, or someone's attacking somebody with a ninja sword. So yeah, those can be scary. Now a ninja sword's a lot. If it's a real sword and it's sharp, it's a lot scarier than a pair of these. But if you see some crazy person walking around swinging these at people, and the truth is, there are all kinds of attacks that you're seeing every week. Yeah, awkwardly cast as anything can be an assault weapon. But there are hatchet and machete and axe attacks that happen almost on a weekly basis in the United States. I'm sure other places in the world. Kitchen knife is scarier than one of these. Much, much scarier. Kills way more people. But if you needed to hit somebody for self-defense, you need to hold your hand at the very bottom. And the basic reason is, when you hit, it's going to come back. When you hit something and you don't hit it correctly, it's going to come back and hit your other hand, or hit the hand that's holding it, or yourself in the head, or wherever. If you follow through with the strike, it's not likely. If you hit and stop, you're going to hit you. I just hit myself in the hand. And these hurt a little bit, so I feel that for sure. American Moses says Glock 40 wins. That's not the point. It's never the point. And I love these comments, and I'm not talking about your comment, especially since your name is, you're obviously in the United States. We have the Second Amendment. We can carry what we're allowed to carry. I personally do. It's a personal choice. But you can't carry it into a sports game. You can't carry it into a concert. You can't carry it into your kid's school. You can't carry it into the bank. You can't carry it into so many places. You can't carry it into an airport. And then most places around the world don't have that as an option, period. Most places don't. They're trying to take it away from the Canadians as an option. Who knows how long before they come after it here. They're already trying. So have multiple levels of self-defense. I always say that. I wanted to throw that in there. All right. No, I know, American. That's why I said I knew it wasn't one of those comments. But absolutely. If you have the right kind of nunchucks, you'll see, and I have these here for a reason. I wanted to show you something in a second. You'll see that when you strike right and you extend through proper technique, that chain or string, when it comes back and rebound, it's not going to hit your hand. See, it doesn't even touch. If it's made correctly, you have the long length, this type of self-defense chuck, and not a speed chuck. If I use the speed nunchuck, the demo chuck, this isn't very heavy. This wouldn't be a good effective self-defense tool anyway. It's going to crack your fingers every time. Now that's the foam nunchuck. People ask me all the time, should I get a pair of foam nunchucks? And I say, if you're, no, even if you're a little kid, I would recommend against it. Saying that, I've got a whole wall full of these because I stopped fighting that fight. I want people to use them, and this gets them to use them. But when you use this and you do, let's see if I can do that again. There, you do that, you don't get the same kind of feedback as when you do that with one of these. We will learn faster. We'll all learn faster when you hit yourself in the head with one of these because you won't do it over and over again. With this one, you can be sloppy all day long because it really doesn't hurt. So if this is your only option, go for it. But if this is not your only option and you can get wood or metal, I would say go for wood and metal. And I put a link below. It's the first link if you wanted to go and look. And those are in there, the foam ones are in there, but some wood and metal are in there too. So back to striking. You have the vertical strike, and I just did that in a way you heard it come back and smack this, but it did not hit my hand. Because again, I'm holding at the end, and you're only striking with the tip of the chuck. Other people don't know that either. When they talk about, nunchucks is not a good self-defense weapon because it's like a flail, and when you hit with this part, it doesn't do much damage, and that's true. But you're not supposed to strike with this. You're supposed to strike with the very tip, like a sword or a knife. So this is slashing, and this will slice. This will slice you up. So you have to hold it at the end when you do a vertical strike. When you do it correctly, fully extended and follow through, that means a full angle strike coming from the top to the bottom. When you hit something, it'll come back and it'll hit itself, but it's not gonna hit your hand. If you do the diagonal strike, same thing. It won't even hit itself. A vertical strike, it's gonna come back and hit itself, but not your hand. If you do it correctly with a full follow through. If you do this strike and stop, it's gonna hit your hand. If you do this strike and stop, it's gonna hit your hand. If you do this strike and stop, it's gonna hit your hand. So always follow through for self-defense if you don't wanna hit yourself in the hand. And that's all I'll say about that. There are other parts to it, but that's the most important part. Know where to hit, use the bottom end, hold your hand at the very bottom. That gives you the maximum amount of leverage too. That means you're gonna hit the hardest that way. Now, this is aircraft aluminum, and it's a little bit thicker. It's very sturdy, very heavy duty. This would be very difficult to break. You would probably break the attachments here before you broke this. So this is extremely durable for self-defense, but these are hard to get, they're unique. I showed you the foam. The other option is wood. Wood will break. This is a special made one, handmade. These are oak, extremely strong. You can see it has 4 pieces of rope and then a little brass peg that goes through it that holds that in. So what he's done, the man who made these, handmade these, passed away not that long ago, a few years ago, but was a pioneer of this style, Lissaju, I think is what he called it, of speed chucks. And it was very much based on the Filipino style, Filipino martial arts, recognizing that when you're in motion, this is just one big stick. And so that's why, and his style had a lot of cool tricks, and he kind of pioneered a lot of things that people do in demonstration. But none of those are for self-defense. None of those are effective. The animators, yeah, it's good to see you. Long time no see. Still uses the bow from time to time. Welcome. Glad to see you here this weekend. And then this one is kind of a combination. It's metal, so it has a little bit more weight. And a little bit more weight means it moves a little bit faster and allows you to do a bunch of tricks. You can also throw and catch. You can do all those things. You can do your wrist rolls. Wrist rolls can be done this way. The purpose of the wrist roll is to go from one side to the other side. Again, drop your chucks, pick them up, take your shoes off so you can pick them up with your toes. You won't have to bend over so much. Get good at that. But you can just practice wrist roll to wrist roll, and now you've added another level of tricking into your freestyle, free flow. So you go back into your orbital, got your figure 8, throw a wrist roll in every once in a while, and then this grip, this is the negative grip. Since we're here, I'm going to show you anytime the string is coming out of the pinky side of your hand, this is called a negative grip. This is the positive grip, when the string or the chain is coming out of your thumb side. So to get into that negative grip, you do that spin, or that wrist roll, you're back into a figure 8, Come out into your orbital, do your upper arm, catch, squeeze, pop. There's your Bruce Lee triangle. And then you're going hand to hand. I feel like there was another trick. So why don't I just show you one real quick. You're coming around, making a clock. Now on this clock, the old-fashioned clock, the ones on the wall, you have your minute hand sweeping, your second hand sweeping, going clockwise in this direction. So your hand is going to spin. Right here at about 11 o'clock, you're going to let it go. You're going to catch it over here at 1 o'clock. When you let it go at 11, your palm is facing down. It's going to do a full rotation, and then your hand is going to be facing down when you catch it over here at 1 o'clock. So you're spinning, let it go, catch it, let it go, catch it, put in the other hand, reverse, let it go, spin it, catch it, spin it, catch it. And then once you get that on both sides, let me see if I can almost stay in the frame. I'll pick it up with my toes. And then you can go into your figure eight and throw it and catch it with the other hand. When you throw it with the other hand, you let it go down here, does a full spin, and then you catch it with your palm up on the opposite hand. Bring it across your body, figure eight, palm up, palm up. So you're going, it's just the basic spin over here. It's bigger motion, bigger orbital. You let it go and catch it in the other hand. And then the more you do it, the more you'll be able to do it without looking back. You can see I'm still looking back because I just haven't done it in a while. And I think the mirror throws me off a little bit. Those are excuses. You have to train your excuses away. But throw it and catch it. Throw it and catch it. We'll get there, right? You just keep training, keep trying, keep dropping it and picking it up. The more you drop something and pick it up, the better you're going to get faster, because that's a sign that you're out of your comfort zone, so you're growing. So throw it, catch it, throw it, catch it, go back into your reverse hand, go back into your figure eight, put all your different, I was trying to do two different things there at once, all your different tricks, all your tricks together, and then you're fighting with the chucks. Killing Joy, it's been a while. How are you? I'm great. Killing Joy, it's great to see you. Thanks for everybody for being here this weekend. I love to do nunchucks, and every once in a while I'll do some lightsaber. I haven't done lightsaber in a year. I missed May 4th this year. I usually do it on May the 4th be with you. But it's all just different ways to keep your hands flexible, strong, your body, your mind healthy and flexible. And some things are really practical for self-defense. Some things are just cross-training for self-defense. So you can look at this. This is like jumping rope. You start getting good at this stuff, you're going to move faster. You can see I'm breaking a sweat. I'm starting to breathe heavier. You can start to move your feet around a little bit. And so you can create an interesting, different kind of workout that keeps you fit. If you're like me, you don't like to spend all your time in the gym. I don't enjoy sitting on the machines in the gym and benches and waiting for other people to get done and then trying to get my workout in, especially now. And it's, it's the age of selfies and cell phones and grandmas and grandpas just sitting there talking. I don't know what's more annoying. The millennial who's constantly, and it's not even just millennials anymore, it's people my age, right? And they're taking pictures of themselves, or they're filming their workouts, or it's two men who should be at the coffee shop talking about politics, and the guy's just sitting there on the machine, and I want to get a set in. And I will. I'll come up and I'll say, hey, do you mind if I work in? And as I work in, he's not doing anything. But my point is, I don't have to worry about that when I grab my chucks, because I know I can get my heart rate up, and I can get a good workout in, and I can bash myself a little bit and remind myself to pay attention. Went too far back and I thought, oh, the mirror's back there. Pay attention so I don't lose it. Anyway, you guys have been awesome. Have a great weekend. I will see you early, hopefully tomorrow. Tomorrow I want to do some hand-to-hand combat. I've been watching more and more of these videos and seeing people being attacked just ruthlessly and mindlessly in different places. And so I wanted to give you some more skills of self-defense. What happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? And what do you do when you don't have any tools for self-defense except for the ones that you carry in here and in here in your body? You guys have been awesome. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, put in the comment section below, please, if you would, after you've subscribed, because that helps me grow this channel, please put in the comment section if you have a pair of chucks, What are yours made out of? Do you have metal? Do you have wood? Do you have foam? Do you have all three? Do you have one or two of the others? Let me know in the comment section which one is most interesting to you if you don't have one. And I'll see you guys in a little bit. Thank you.